Hey everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to Hits Different.
Lee hee hee.
How is everyone tonight? We took a few deep breaths to recover from the show that was the Grammys. Now ready to chat with you guys. See how you're feeling?
Yeah, it's a long show, so getting through it. It's midnight, so once again we're live streaming. It's late and probably
Very
who
late.
knows what hour with all that are international.
I know. About halfway through the show we were like, whew, tired. Um So I think the night kind of went how we were expecting, unfortunately. When we did
Loosely,
our
yeah.
preview episode last week, we were like, these categories are so competitive this year. And I don't know that I didn't think she had a clear shot for any category going in.
Yeah. Except for I don't know, I was still hoping for the pop duo, her and Gracie. That was my biggest shock. The rest I was like,
Yeah. Yep, I agree. Alex is adjusting some settings right now. Hopefully you guys can hear us okay. See how the chat's feeling. People are bummed. Taylor looks fabulous. Yeah, maybe that's
oh
where we
yeah.
could
We'll
start
start from the
actually.
beginning. We'll
Yeah.
start from the very beginning.
I
I'm like
mean, yeah. Well, first of all, it seems like everyone was showing up in black
or
or
white,
white.
very generic.
So seeing that pop of color on Taylor in the all red, that was not what I was expecting.
The Chiefs red. There's
Oh,
no confusing it, and the little T
the
on
little
her leg,
tape.
on her upper thigh.
What if you written T on upper thigh? Oh,
Oof,
so
yeah.
good. And when she went out on stage to present the country album award, she like popped that foot
Oh
out.
yeah. There were so many photos where she was like, "Yes,
Yeah.
yes." The photos. There's so many good photos out there. But yeah, I mean, I know some people were clowning for an announcement during the Grammys. For once in our life, we were not.
We were not.
For once. But of course you're like, what is she gonna wear?
Mm-hmm.
And then she was like, I'm not even gonna make you guys clown. It was kind of nice. You're like,
Yeah.
there's no like confusing this. This is Chiefs Super Bowls next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
She's not here supporting her man, and
Yeah. Loving him is red.
Literally. I know. I was like, wait, are we in the red era?
Also, like 2 hours before the Grammys started, the Chiefs had posted an arrival of Travis wearing gold, and she had already liked it. And we're like, girl, aren't you busy?
Yeah.
So yeah, we loved that. That was a great way to start the show. And honestly, like, obviously we're all Swifties here. We all love Tortured Poets. We're all biased to Tortured Poets.
Yes.
Taylor genuinely looked like she was having a blast the whole night.
Yeah.
In the past, when things haven't gone her way at the Grammys, I feel like she didn't look like she was having as much fun in those other times. Yeah. And tonight she was like when Kendrick was up there, there's this awesome picture of her holding up her glass, like looking up at him, and he's our bad blood homie.
I know. It's like if Taylor couldn't win, a lot of the Tay fam did win.
Yes.
Like starting with Sabrina.
Yes.
Like, yeah. And her first Grammy ever, that was so fun to watch.
I know. And Sabrina's performance was awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
We weren't sure what song she would do, so the fact that she did Espresso and Please 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 was perfect.
No. And yeah, Kendrick winning 2 Grammys.
I know.
He's in the squad. And then like Beyonce, I mean, she's never won Album of the Year, and so I was like, if Taylor's not going to win this award, that is who I want.
Right.
Like,
let her
Beyonce
get it.
is obviously iconic. It was so fun to see Taylor present the best the Grammy
for the country
album, and then to give it to Beyonce, like that was.
Yes.
Beyonce's also in the team.
Yeah, so Taylor's first ever VMA that she won, I believe it was her first one, was, the Kanye incident.
The rep
and later that night, when Beyonce won for Music Video of the Year, she ended up bringing Taylor back out on stage so that she could actually get her moment uninterrupted. And ever since then, they've been like supporters of each other. They both went to each other's premieres last year for the Eras Tour and the Renaissance Tour movies.
Yes.
So how cool that Taylor got to hand her the country album Grammy.
And at the end of the day, it's like, again, we all, like, anybody who's in this chat knows how iconic Tortured Poets is. And it does suck to not see her win, but we know how good the album is.
Yeah.
We've seen the Eras Tour, whether it was streaming in real life. We know. We are still listening to it. We are still in our Tortured Poets era.
Yeah.
Like, it's the end of an era. Or it's
very oversized TTP.
We're in the era until we get our next album, whatever that is. Rep TV TS12, we don't know. Until then, we are still here.
Yeah.
You know?
We were talking about that a little bit as the night was going on. So we thought originally, like, two of the categories we felt like she had the strongest chance of was maybe Best Music Video, which was in the pre-show. Kendrick won for Not Like Us.
Right.
And then we really thought Gracie and Taylor, Best Pop Duo. And so when they didn't win that one, I was like, oh no. Going into Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Album of the Year, I didn't have like a strong feeling. And so then I did start to like turn a little bit towards Album of the Year. I'm like, well, maybe she didn't get anything else because she's getting album.
I know. We did start clowning the last moment. We're like, wow, the winners have been so diverse and everyone's gotten an award. And then, you know, but again, at least it was Beyonce. So yeah, not what we expected, but you know what? As we were also saying, if we know anything about Taylor, she loves competition. And this is just going to raise the bar even higher for whatever's coming next because our girl also likes to win. So
yeah. Oh, someone said in the chat Taylor was toasting with Jay-Z after Beyonce won. That was cool. Yeah, she seemed like we said, she'll be the first one on her feet cheering for anyone.
Every single artist. Like, yeah, she supports people more than anybody else. And then in the beginning, Cynthia, what's her last name?
Oh my gosh, it's blanking.
The
Cynthia
actress
from Wicked.
The iconic actress and singer from Wicked. In the beginning, she didn't know where her seat was, and so Taylor like waved her over while they were like live on TV and was like, "Oh, sit next to me." And yeah, she's just
What are the chat's favorite Taylor moments from the Grammys tonight? Obviously, without an award, it's gonna be like a dancing moment, fan moment,
outfit reveal.
Yeah, maybe someone you saw like a photo of her with. Because there were a lot. It was starting with Cynthia, like literally the scooting over, Taylor let her take half of her seat. Yeah.
Oh, Arrivo. Okay, thank you guys.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry if you can't tell, our brains are like going a million miles a minute. I feel like
the jacket.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So I wasn't clowning the whole time, but then of course, like we didn't know at first like where she got the black jacket from. And in my delusion, I was like, what if she finally now has like the black and red, which is giving like rep black and red bodysuit. And I was like, and if she's going to win an award, she's going to go up and wear this black jacket. No, y'all. It was just a jacket she caught from Janelle Monáe.
Yeah, but, so if anyone, I don't know if there's anyone in here who maybe like couldn't watch the stream, depending on international availability, things like that. Obviously we're in the US, so if you missed it, one of the performers literally like took their jacket off, threw it into the crowd, and Taylor caught it and put it on. It looked like it fit her perfectly.
I know, and she was like cheering. She kept it on the rest of the show because it looked really freaking good. She was like, dang, why didn't I think of this? Like
the holding space with Priceless Edits said the holding space with Cynthia. Yeah, that was the moment we're talking about.
I know.
But we didn't say that part of it. So like when Cynthia sat down and shared the seat with Taylor, she has the really long fingernails like she's had during all of the Wicked promo, and like
she literally was like if y'all haven't seen the Cynthia Ariana Grande interview, where she like holds space and holds her nail.
Oh my gosh. And then, the jacket catching.
We're jumping up when Sabrina won. Yeah, I know. When Sabrina won, I think Taylor was also like, okay, another person can win, like in this category. She's part of the fam, man.
I
Her
really
first
thought Sabrina was gonna
Grammy.
have a shot at that one. When it came true, I was like, oh
I
my
know.
gosh, her
I
vocals are so
know.
good on that.
And her dress was stunning.
Yeah, I
So
liked her
good.
like gold dress better than the red carpet, like the one she showed up in
Yeah.
originally. The gold
Yeah.
was stunning.
Yeah. Someone said at one point they were like, okay, but like what if Taylor changes into a gold outfit before she presents? And of course I was briefly clowning. I was like, what if? But nope, it was just Chiefs red, you know? We
Oh,
gotta
someone.
just
Sorry, I just interrupted you. Someone said Janelle is from Kansas City. I didn't know that.
Oh,
That's a cool
that
connection.
is cool.
What else? Oh, someone had mentioned that the little kid handing her a flower on the red carpet, that was really cute
Oh
too.
yeah.
Oh, it's Dancing with Alicia Keys' son.
Yes.
That,
We got a lot of good BTS video of clearly someone who was there who was just getting all the good footage cuz we kept being like, "Wait, why are they showing Taylor during these things?" And then it's like, "Don't worry, we got the BTS." So,
yeah. What were your favorite performances of the evening? I'm curious. Oh, we loved the Chapel's
Chapels was
performance was
so
really good.
good. Pink Pony Club.
Yeah. Benson doing another backflip. I guess that's like his thing now, right? I
Yeah,
mean, not
he's
now.
always
It's been
jumping
for a
off. I guess
while.
that he did technically like a front side flip,
Yeah.
but yeah. Oh,
Her leg chain was iconic. Yes, it
yes, and
was.
it her dress was a Vivian Westwood, which is basically like who made a lot of her Tortured Poets outfits. So I like that there was like a nod. It was a double nod to like Chiefs and also like still in her Tortured Poets era. Oh yeah, the dancers. So
Oh yeah, the Air Tour dancers. Oh my gosh,
yeah,
so much happened.
I know. And we didn't even know, like, we knew that Cam and Natalie were there before the show started, and then we didn't see them. And then turns out Cam and Natalie were in Chapel's performance, and then Taylor
Taylor,
was in
Taylor Banks.
uh
Oh
I'm
my
blank
gosh.
Sabrina's?
Maybe it was
I think it
Sabrina's.
was, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And obviously they had the clown makeup in Chapel's, and we were like, what do they know?
I
I'm
know.
like, Cam dressing up as a clown, does he feel like this is too meta right now?
I
Like
can't wait to see better like footage of them in it too, because the I just saw like a blurred, like screened in, like
yeah.
zoomed in still photo. And
Yeah.
so now that we know they were in it, I need to go back and watch again.
Yeah, yeah,
That
for
was really
sure.
cool. I love that Jack
Mm.
and Margaret were sitting with Taylor. I think we were hoping that would happen. We also
Yeah,
were hoping that Sabrina or Gracie would have been at her table, but
I know.
Taylor
But
had the
yeah,
executive, like the CEO of the record label, was sitting with
yeah.
her, and her security, Drew. For anyone who watches the Chiefs recaps, Drew made an appearance in the recap last week because Travis gave him a hug after the game. Anyway, Drew had his own table right next to
Oh
Taylor.
yeah, just chilling, just looking all good in a little suit. Oh yeah, Stochi did kill it. That performance was
Yeah.
so good. So, so good.
And I saw someone else said Billy's performance, which I know you love that song
I
and you love
do.
that performance. It was cool, very different like set design than the other performances
Yeah.
that she was able to really like
A
channel
big
the
nod to LA and
yeah.
to California for sure.
Wasn't Gracie supposed to perform? I don't know. I don't know that she was ever teased
Yeah.
to perform. I wish she had. That would have been cool. She did perform. Actually, it's like a good time to bring this up. So we put the link should be in the description of this episode. The link that the Grammys were using to raise money for the wildfires that affected California. That's in our description if anyone would like to contribute to that. And Gracie and Aaron performed at a
Fire
concert
Aid, yeah.
for the Fire Aid as well. So if you didn't see
Mhm.
that, it was really good. Her voice sounded amazing, and that
Yeah.
was yesterday. I think it's available on YouTube though.
Yeah.
Where's everyone joining us from? I'm curious if how many. I mean, it's so late. I'm curious of the international time zones potentially.
Oh, also, if you guys like this video, please hit that like button because it helps us reach more Swifties and
Yes.
gets the word out, especially in this era, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting time that we're in.
Catherine said, I was kind of bummed that Jack didn't
Mm.
have more nominations considering how many songs he worked on that were nominated. I totally agree. he's won producer of the year 3 years in a row, and then wasn't nominated in that category at all this year, despite the fact that he worked on Taylor's album, Sabrina's album. There's a third one that I think I'm forgetting right now. He also worked on Kendrick's album, but Kendrick's album I don't think was in this like Grammy cycle. Not Like Us was a single, obviously won several
Hmm.
categories, but not on the album.
Okay, wait. You guys are all saying, oh, we got Australia again, New Zealand, San
Child from
Diego.
Italy.
Wow.
Oh,
Kansas City,
someone is
North
in California.
Dakota.
I'm jealous that this is at a more normal time for
Right?
you. Canada, Australia.
Who do we think should have won Album of the Year? I mean, yeah, if it wasn't Tay, like we'd said, definitely
Yeah.
Beyonce.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Cowboy Carter is an awesome album. I mean, because it came out earlier in the year, I listened to it a lot more like at the beginning of 2024 than I did towards like the
Hmm.
tail end. You know, as a Swiftie, once Tortured Poets dropped, it was like that was most of my listening. But
Yeah.
I loved a lot of songs off of Cowboy Carter, and I think it was nice to like see the performance at the halftime of the Netflix game as well, just to like hear some of those live. And now
Yeah.
she's announced the tour for the album. It's gonna be insane.
Yeah. Not Like Us was a
16
banger.
Carriages, I think, was my favorite like non-collab song, but I loved the collabs with Posty and
Oh,
Miley
yeah.
as well.
So many good collabs.
And she won with Miley for country duo in the pre-show too, which was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I kind of thought that Beyonce and Posty would
I
win
know.
for Levi's Jeans. I mean, it's
Someone was asking
so
if he
good.
was there. Was he?
I didn't see him.
I didn't see him either. But also, like, we didn't know if Kendrick was there, and then he just popped up when he won. So, like, maybe they just weren't showing him.
Maybe.
Who knows? But yeah. Someone said that Not Like Us is a banger. That is very true. Very true. We love to see it. And it just gets us hype, like, between him and then obviously Taylor wearing, like, Chiefs red. It's like the Super Bowl is a week away.
Mhm.
And Kendrick and SZA will be rolling it back.
Yes.
So
Yeah, Kendrick's about to have himself like the best week of his life.
yeah. I don't know if any of you guys have seen the trending sound of, you know, the Swifties have made of the Not Like Us remixed
Blood.
with the Bad Blood remix that Kendrick is on, but it is so good because everyone's like, is he gonna do a little at the Super Bowl? And I would love like if he just did that like
It
little
would
track.
be great.
I mean, whoever edited it did a really good job. It flows. So
I mean, I'm pretty much obsessed with the song Not Like Us. We were showing Ryan the music video earlier today because she hadn't seen it yet.
yeah.
And I
It was
can't
good,
wait to see
yeah.
what's on his Super Bowl set next week.
It's
It's
gonna
gonna
be
be so
so
good.
good.
And I was pretty proud of myself because I called record of the
Mhm.
year for Kendrick. I was like, I feel like Not Like Us is gonna win that one. I wasn't sure about song of the year because like the differences in the categories.
Yeah.
So someone, Marjorie is asking,
Sure,
can you go
yeah.
over how the Grammys work? So, you know, we can explain what we know about
I know.
it.
Like, we've been watching probably over a decade, and we're still like, how does this work? Well, as they reminded us multiple times for a lot of the awards, 13,000 people voted on each award, which is like the board.
It's the
like,
Academy.
The Academy.
Yeah, the Academy.
And like
the Recording Academy.
Like you'd said that people who vote technically like are in the industry. So if they're
Yeah.
voting for like best pop album or whatever, they should have some pop experience.
Yeah, I don't understand like a whole lot about the background of the voting process. I'm not gonna lie.
Mhm.
But as far as record of the year and song of the year goes, I can explain that one slightly. That a record of the year is like more of the all-encompassing song. Like it
Mhm.
includes things from the songwriter
The
to the singer
production,
to down to the
producers.
production. Yeah,
Yeah.
sound mixing, things like that. Which is why I thought Kendrick would win, because if anyone doesn't know, Not Like Us was, as far as we know, like recorded, produced, and released within a very small window, like hours. It was this back and forth with the Drake diss track battle, and Drake dropped something, and then within, I want to say it was like within 12 hours, maybe even less, Kendrick dropped Not Like Us. So that's why I thought it would win Record of the Year, because it's a long song and
Mhm.
it's kind of crazy that he could have written it in that amount of time. Like,
Yeah.
it's so good.
Written, produced a music video, the
Well, the
whole
music video
thing.
came out way later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He didn't
I'm
shoot
like
the whole music
I'm
video
like,
that
dang.
night.
Like, I don't know.
No. It was just the song. But anyway, that's why I thought it would win Record. And then Song of the
Mhm.
Year is more for the songwriting, lyrics, melody, like that
Yeah.
specific part of the song. So it ended up winning for both, which is great.
Yeah. I know. I always watch these award shows and forget that it's not fan voted, like the VMAs, the iHeart Music Awards, I'm like, I feel like there's like at least one more, but you know, because those are fan voted. So you're like, okay, well, the majority of people like this, so you think that's what's gonna win. You're like, actually, it's a totally different group of people voting on
Yeah.
this, and it's based on so many different things, and just like, and it just shows how diverse like the music taste is out there for sure.
The video brought so many different people together. That alone is amazing. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many times I've watched the music videos.
Yeah, the picking the music video is also hard because we watched like I think you watched all of them. I watched most of them and I was like, wow, these are like
Yeah, I'd only seen Not Like Us in Fortnite before.
Yeah.
And then I had to watch the other ones.
And you're like, wow, these are all really well done. How do you even pick based on like But yeah, uniting the Crips and Bloods, I guess obviously wins. So it's,
Someone is asking that did Taylor win any awards? Sue, I guess you could not watch the stream in Canada. Totally understand. Taylor did not win in any category.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to say about it. It's like, it's obviously disappointing.
Yeah.
I think we both just had a feeling it was going to happen because one of the competition being such high quality.
Yeah.
And two, we think Tortured Poets was much more of a fan appreciated album than it was like a general public appreciated album.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that's just how it's gonna be.
Right.
This album's for us.
It really is. And then like the anthology, which obviously wasn't nominated, it was only the Tortured Poets department. So like the first album, if you will, since it was a double album, and which can stand on its own, but it's like I don't think of it as Tortured Poets anymore. I'm like anthology or bust. So like that alone says like, okay, like it's just different than like how the fans absorb that album. So it's like Tortured Poets is almost like a if you know, even though in our world we're like everyone knows.
In our world, it's our whole world.
Yeah, in our world we're like obviously, and then I don't know. There's like it almost feels like there's like deep cuts on Tortured Poets because there's 31 songs.
Well, yeah,
and also it's like kind of are deep cuts because like she only had one single.
Well, technically
two, but still like the rest
Fortnite
of them.
And I Can Do It with a Broken Heart. Yeah.
Like, the people out there who don't like absorb Taylor in the way that we all do, it's like they might not even know what Fresh Out the Slammer is, or like
Guilty as
Sin. It's like Taylor's wearing a T on her upper thigh, and it's like how many people outside of the Swifties like knew what the heck she was doing. They were like, okay, T for Taylor, I guess. It's like she don't even know.
So obviously because of us like being such big Taylor fans, the people in our life who like know that we're Taylor fans but they're not like Swifties, when Tortured Poets came out, the biggest thing I was hearing is it kind of all sounded the same, and I was like, what?
How dare you? And also there's obviously like
I'm like, you should listen again. But I just feel like if you are not gonna like sit with it and absorb it, it's not gonna sit with you. Like you had to like absorb the storytelling. You had to understand the full album. And I don't know what to say to the people who don't get it.
But it's okay. It's like a little gift for us, and it's her not winning doesn't devalue it in my mind. Again,
No.
it lights the fire that we know Taylor always has.
I'm like, wait, there we go.
I'm like, what is happening?
I'm trying to
Oh,
like
this
put
one?
heart over it. Yeah. I love this song. Like literally, as Ryan and I were getting ready earlier today, we started from the beginning. We were going through, and we're just like, like it's just so
I
good.
just had this realization, which is kind of fun. So, you know, if you didn't know, big rep stands here. So when you think back to when Reputation was nominated, it was only
It wasn't nominated for like any of the major categories.
right. Yeah, it wasn't nominated for the major
Yeah.
categories, and for what it was nominated, it didn't win. So like Reputation also won nothing, which is kind of fun, I guess, when you think about it in this era that we're in of like
Fun.
well, okay, let me get to my point.
This is Ryan's revisionist history.
No, it's fun now. I'm turning into a positive of like we're on the cusp of Rep TV, right? And so it's like we know how iconic Tortured Poets is. It got snubbed, it didn't win anything, but like neither did Rep. And I'm sorry, but we all like a lot of people agree Rep was iconic. And Rep also felt like and still feels like if you know, you know. Like now it's obviously like blowing up because the hype of Rep TV, but it's kind of like fun to like correlate those, especially because I've come to realize that there's Reputation, there's Tortured Poets, and like they're almost like at the same level in my mind. So I'm like, I kind of like that, you know? It's not mainstream. It's very like, I mean, Rep TV is going to be like, if you didn't know, you're gonna know. Like when it does come out.
I feel like with Rep, like the tour gave it a different life than like its reception when it was first dropped.
Yeah.
Like, the tour itself, hearing songs live, like changed it for some people who might have been mid on it. And then now that it's been out for so long and the Eras tour, everyone was looking forward to seeing the Reputation set.
Yeah.
And then obviously when Tortured Poets got added, that became the star of the show.
Yeah.
And so it's just, yeah, I mean, the thing that we didn't talk about in our preview episode and we haven't really talked about today is that there is like I think it's best music film or movie or something category that was in the pre-show, and the Eras Tour movie didn't get nominated in that. And I think I have more beef with that than anything else. But anyway, back to your original point.
We don't talk about
about Rep and Tortured Poets. It's like, sometimes
it's true. Yeah.
It's just like it's not going to be appreciated in the way you want it to be.
It's like, guess what? Rep didn't win anything, and it's still my favorite album. So I kind of like it. It's kind of like it's like almost like cool. Y'all don't need this because the ones who know, and like we'll just keep it over here, you know?
Yeah, and Tortured Poets already broke so many records.
Yeah.
That I feel like it speaks for itself and it stands on its own. I saw someone put in the chat that Down Bad should have been a single. I agree. I saw
Molly really thought for a bit that it was gonna be.
I saw on another podcast actually that they said if Down Bad had been sung by someone else and like put out as a single, it would have been like the #1 song.
Yeah.
And it's like, not that like the Taylor part of it necessarily matters. It's just that like she didn't pick it to be a single. Hitting the mic. And that song would have been so catchy if it was on the radio.
I know. Even My Boy Breaks His Favorite Toys. I know. I feel like we talked about this the other day when we're like, oh, why? Like when we didn't fully know the Grammys like rules. It's like, why didn't she nominate these songs? It's like, well, she doesn't get to choose. And also like,
but they're gonna nominate the single.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, who knows, right? But yeah.
I also wanted to, like, since we're on this topic, I wanted to say what Taylor Nation posted afterwards. We'd like to thank the entire department for tuning in tonight to support Taylor and all the incredible artists at the Grammys. No effing buddy, because we can't curse on the live stream, loved TSTTBD more than you, and we couldn't be prouder of what this album has accomplished until our next board meeting.
With a kissy face and a white heart.
And a photo of Taylor doing the kissy face. So they're already teasing the next board meeting.
Of course they are, because as Taylor Nation does, right? They're like, all right, let's move on from this. Like, y'all know there's a lot coming up. But
they're also saying, like, you loved this album.
Yeah, they're saying, like, what we said too, yeah.
You made this album
Yeah.
a huge accomplishment. We don't need the Grammys to tell us how good this album
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, why am I blanking on the song? Because you bleeped it verbally. So I'm like, what's
It's from the Tortured Poets Department.
Okay, thank you. I was like, without singing it, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Taylor Nation's out here cursing in their tweets, you know, it's for real. All right. They're like, shout out to y'all. Because
Yes.
at the end of the day, you know, Taylor had a sold out tour for a reason, even though that wasn't just Tortured Poets, but still.
Someone said Down Bad couldn't be played on the radio because of language, no matter how catchy. There is a clean version of it, actually. Yeah. And the Grammys aren't about popularity. I totally agree. Yeah. Although Cowboy Carter was also hugely popular. And a lot of the things that won tonight were very mainstream popular.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
I'm like, we have some clowning rabbit holes we can go down, but I'm like, is there anything more on the Grammys you guys want us to talk about before we move on to the clowning? Yeah, someone said you're gonna do your predictions, right?
Don't worry, guys.
Yeah.
We didn't fake tease you. We're always on to the next. It's just like Taylor. She's like, cool, great, Grammys are done. Moving on. Like, first the Super Bowl, and then
oh, Kimberly, welcome. You became a Swiftie at the start of Midnights. Heck yes, that's one of my favorite albums.
Have you gone back and listened to the albums pre-Midnights?
Yes,
I would assume yes, but I don't want to assume. So
also our poll. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say that's a good question to ask everyone. Which album? How do I say this in a not confusing way? 'Cause it's not confusing. When did you become a Taylor Swift fan? Like, which album?
Oh, which era? Yeah.
Which era? Which album?
Yeah.
Like,
what was your starting point?
We started
for everyone
listening...
everyone in the chat.
Yeah.
So
let
us know.
We both started listening. Like, we listened to Taylor. We knew of her and her top hits, but we didn't really start listening and true fandom until 1989, the OG, and then obviously Rep and so on. But I'm always curious when like people became Swifties because it's so fun. Oh, we got a debut. We got an OG. TTPD era. That's so fun. I was going to say, I know that's like...
That's awesome.
Yeah, 1989. Okay. Debut. A lot of... I've seen that before. 1989 TV. That's a fun time to come in. Red OG.
2017. Yeah, what's over up?
Ooh.
Folklore. I mean, this is why I like short circuit when someone asks me what my favorite album is, because I can make an argument for about 5 different albums.
That's why I have like a top 5 in no specific order, and then usually like a, you know,
because yeah, Folklore. I mean, like the thing with Taylor's albums is that like depending on when you became a fan and where you were at that point of your life when they came out.
Yeah.
It's like each album to me represents like a very specific point in my life.
Oh, for sure.
It's like, how do I choose?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Midnight's Rep. And I've heard different stories of some people say like, I was an OG Swiftie and then this album came out and I stopped listening. Or like, I've heard a few people say that they fell off during Reputation, which obviously hurts my soul, but I get it. That was like a total left turn. Yeah. From, you know, her bubbly pop 1989.
Izzy said I was 4. Love. I wish I could have been 4 when I became a fan.
Sheesh.
Rhonda, I saw her at a Strawberry Festival when she was back in 2006. Wow.
That's like someone on our last live stream said that they saw her, they knew someone who saw her at the fair. And I was like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
What are y'all's favorite song? Mine's, oh my God, like ever? Yours is Exile and False God. I guess that's I'm like, why am I like forgetting? I'm like,
I know
like,
what you say your favorite song is.
Oh, Blank Space.
Yeah.
I know. I'm like, is it?
But has it
still?
changed?
I know. I'm like, not. Travis copied me. His is also 1989. Because I try not to like replace the songs that held the spot for so long. But then you're like, okay, but like Cruel Summer is like, yeah, the favorite song is
Oh.
freaking hard.
Oh, you
What?
threw Cruel Summer out
Dude,
there.
that's been up there, yeah.
Someone said, I remember when we got debut at a radio show I worked at in college and I instantly loved her. That is so freaking
That's
cool. I love that.
amazing. Fave rep song. Okay, thank you
Mm.
for narrowing it down. I appreciate you. What's my favorite rep song?
I'm like that's easier.
Do I know?
I don't know what your favorite rap song is.
I guess like offhand, I would say I Did Something Bad.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess if I would
I would
have
say I
thought
Did Something
about it.
Bad.
Yeah.
Or it's like, I mean, the album starts so strong. So you're like, don't blame me. Are you ready for it? Endgame. But like, I would say I Did Something Bad because I love the message. I feel like it's I Did Something Bad. And then like, Who's Afraid of Little Me is like the grown up version, like part 2, which Who's Afraid of Little
I've
Me
never
is
thought about it that way.
one of my favorite songs on Tortured Poets.
I
And
love
like,
that.
I wish we could have got a mashup of that, but obviously we didn't need it.
Yeah.
Because we had Tortured Poets, but
yeah, everyone let us know your favorite rap song while we're talking about this.
Ooh, I feel like Getaway Car is yours.
Okay. I'm like, while you were talking, I'm sitting here smiling because I'm like, I don't know how to pick.
I feel like Getaway Car is yours.
So Call It What You Want, obviously it was like
True.
a single, so it was one of the first ones we heard, and I love that song. I've told the story before, so apologize if you're hearing it again, but my husband Alex and I got married literally the week Reputation came out, so Call It What You Want was like King of My Heart, like both of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, just from like sheer bop perspective, and a song that I used to get people into Taylor because of the storytelling was Getaway Car. I'd be like, listen to this song, okay, and then we're gonna talk about the parallels. Like, think about the place where you first met me, the Met Gala, and like you start to explain it, and people are like, oh,
yeah,
Getaway Car.
No, you know more lore about that than I do at this point. Yeah, I remember.
But yeah, I mean, Don't Blame Me and I Did Something Bad. How can I say I'm ready for it? Endgame? I can't. Like,
yeah,
that's why I can't choose favorites.
I Did Something Bad. It's like a perpetual, like, just watched that tour last night. I Did Something Bad. That's so funny. We were just randomly watching the 1989 tour the other night, and wow.
It's
it really
a
takes
blast
you back.
from the past.
Yeah. Really takes you back.
Also circling back to the favorite Taylor moment from the Grammys tonight, we didn't say the results of this poll. Her red carpet walk, so just like finding out her red outfit, 35%, that was the winner. Presenting best country album was 33%, that came in number 2. Dancing with Margaret was number 3, and Wearing the Jacket was number 4. But I'm like, did everyone see the gif of her wearing the jacket? Because it was pretty fun.
Yeah. I mean, the red carpet walk.
Yeah.
We were talking about like imagining like the photos she was sending Travis, like, how do I look? Like, and it's like, you look incredible.
What's your favorite Taylor Swift lyric?
Oh,
I know. I was gonna say I think we have to go with For the Hope of It All.
For the Hope of It All.
Yeah.
Me behind them all.
Which again is why it's really hard for me to not rank Folklore as.
I know.
I
forget that I have.
You have a tattoo.
I forget. I literally have For the Hope of It All with little 1989 seagulls, because why not? Because 1989 is when I started being a fan. But yeah, I like forget I have this. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Also a big Folklore stan. So, and August in general. Let's hear the clown theories. Okay. If y'all are ready for it.
Are y'all ready?
It's the last shout out. Does anyone, anything else about the Grammys we need to talk about? You feel like you want to ask about?
New clowning? Oh yeah. I mean, it's like new material for our 3-2-1 theory.
Yeah.
That we actually sorry, I have to pause because someone just put in their favorite lyric and it's from Hits Different. Rhonda. Now the sun burns my heart and the sand hurts my feelings.
Oh yeah, in case you guys
So
didn't know,
good.
we're named after the song Hits Different. So it's funny we don't even mention it, but it's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah. To be fair, we love Hits Different, the song, and obviously thought like it worked for the aesthetic. Whose jacket was she wearing? She was wearing Janelle Monáe's jacket. She threw it off during a performance, caught it like it was a bouquet at a wedding, and was like, I am wearing this. Oh,
Clowns are ready.
yeah, the clowns are ready. I know. It's like anytime we're sad, right? You know, it's like what boosts you up
disassociate.
more than, you know, whether that's Taylor related, life related, you know, you just
Flip the notes.
I go to
while you're
secret
talking.
gardens in my clown mind, you know?
Gotta open.
Molly's pulling
Open
up
the
the notes.
Open the Google Doc with the clowning notes.
I also like how our clowning, it's like we're treating it like it's like actual, we're like, okay guys, we're here to give you like intel. It's like, take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Who remembers January 23rd? It was only like a week ago. And yeah.
Yeah.
In case you didn't watch our videos, we look like fools, but we're used to it at this point.
Yeah.
I don't even think about it. I'm like, wow, on record, how many times we were watching back my first ever clowning TikTok. If any of y'all want a good laugh and to be like, what's she doing? Head over to our TikTok and just scroll down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a year ago when I was going on about
X Islands in 3, 2.
what we were about to talk about.
Elisa posted fell from the pedestal right down the rabbit hole. That's what we were about to do. So if clowning isn't for you, or maybe you're new to clowning, you know, welcome. And if you were here mostly for Grammys talk, give it a like. Thank you for joining us. But you might like the clowning might cheer you up if you were bummed in anyway.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, where do we begin?
All right.
Okay. So, just in case you're new to the 3-2-1 theory, like there's been a lot of evidence that has been Easter egged in Taylor's past music videos, things like that. Actually, it goes back like really the Grammys last year with her Taylor's. Okay, I'm like going all over the place.
Molly's
I'm so
like,
sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So the Grammys last year,
Set the scene.
Taylor's website went down and it said 3-2-1 back-end fetch error. Later that day, Taylor ended up announcing Tortured Poets. So we thought,
don't forget about the scrambled. There was also scrambled letters beneath it, which I always like to bring up, that unscrambled said red herring. For those who don't know, a red herring is something that's basically supposed to distract from what's actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all clowning thinking Rep TV is happening. We think her outfit is giving Rep at the Grammys. It turns out that no, actually she's about to shock the world and announce Tortured Poets.
Mm-hmm. So there had already been a 3-2 before this, which was from the Bejeweled music video. Taylor opens this like pocket watch and it goes Exile ends in 3-2. So Bejeweled had come out in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Grammys date, so last year, 2024, we get the 3-2-1, and we're starting to think, 3-2, what's going on?
Yeah.
Then Ryan, amongst others, made the connection that in the Karma music video, there's the Aries mask.
Yes.
And you can explain that part.
Oh, yeah. So, because the Karma music video also came out now, like, what, 2 years ago? The Karma music video with Ice Spice.
It'll be like 2 years ago this May.
So a minute ago. AK, we've been clowning for a really freaking long time. And there's a scene in the video that's clearly Rep. It's like she's wearing black, her nails are black, there's a snake on the rock. She looks like she's like in the underworld, and she has this mask on that she takes off, and it looks very much like the Aries sign, which the Aries season starts March 21st. It's also
3-2-1.
It's also a fire sign. Taylor's talked about in the past that Rep TV vault tracks will be fire.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people were really clinging on to the Aries, you know, being a nod, even though again this was 2 years ago.
Yeah. My big thing with that though is like I don't associate that mask or any of that with anything from original Rep. But like the rest of the
Mhm.
scene was very original rep. Her hair
Yeah.
was slicked back. She was wearing black. There's a snake on the rock.
The outfit she wore out in public a few
Mm-hmm.
weeks ago, which was the first time we've seen her nails black in who knows how long, she had a very similar outfit to what she was wearing in this music video.
Mm-hmm.
Had the
So
chains, had all that stuff.
yeah, so I just feel like the mask in that was intentional. Maybe Taylor just likes to wear black with chains now, but maybe she's calling attention back to that. Anyway, if you've watched some of our clowning videos, you've heard all this before. The part that we had forgotten about
Yes.
that ties into the 3-2-1 theory that we wanted to share with you.
Yeah.
This was all inspired very randomly because of Taylor Nation messing with us
As they do.
with the 5 holes in the fence. We're like, what other, like the 5 holes in the fence from pre-Lover era was an Easter egg that wasn't actually an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Like
It was just a
Swifties
photo.
thought it was an Easter egg,
Yeah.
but it actually meant nothing. And we're like, what other things have we thought was something that hasn't come to fruition?
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan and I were going back and forth, and we realized there was a really big thing that happened on March 2nd, 3-2
Of
last year
Yeah.
that we've just not forgotten about. It's always in the back of the
Yeah.
noggin, but we haven't talked about it in connection to this 3-2-1
Right.
theory.
Because again, this time last year, we were clowning the same way we are now, right? So it was like we had the sketchy stuff happening during the Grammys with the red herring, the 3-2-1 back end fetch, these previous music videos from the year before. And so we were already on high alert for 3-2 or 2-3. It was like the reverse either worked.
Because of Exile Ends
Yeah.
and 3-2.
We're like, sure, either one. So then nothing happens until March 2nd, the day we're clowning for. She's on the Eras tour. And
So I'm curious, before we even say it, if anyone in the chat knows what happened on March 2nd last year.
without Googling it.
Yeah. I'm like, do you know what we're about to say? Because it caused a lot of chaos in the moment.
And then people just forgot about it because the Eras tour so much happened that it was so easy to just be like, on to the next show. Oh, what surprise songs did she do? And like, you forgot, you know? We just clowned for other dates and we moved on. We realized March 2nd obviously wasn't going to happen and we're all clowns. And just to move on with our life and move on to the next clown date.
So we'll set the scene. It's last year. The 3-2-1 back end fetch thing has happened at the Grammys.
In February.
Then Taylor announces Tortured Poets, and then she goes back on the Eras tour. So when she goes back on the Eras tour, she's starting to announce the other album variants. So it was night 1 in Melbourne. She announced the Bolter, I believe, was the first one. Then night 1 in Sydney, she announced the Albatross. And then night 1 in Singapore was March 2nd. So the important things to note about those other night 1s and the announcements of those Tortured Poets variants is that Taylor Nation was teasing like department meetings, and Taylor, would sit down at the piano and give a little speech.
During the surprise song
section. Yeah, during the surprise song section, she would sit down at the piano and give a little speech, and she would announce the new variant.
And they'd go live, so we could all see it, because, this was pre the release of Tortured Poets, so, like, we didn't know the songs, but we're finding out, like, oh my god, there's more to this album.
Yep. And so Taylor Nation would go live on Instagram, and they would have a white heart. That's what happened for both Melbourne and Sydney night 1s, the Bolter, the Albatross. So now we're in Singapore. They're teasing a department meeting again. We're like, we're getting another new variant.
All day, they're like, tune in.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Tune in. And then what happens when Taylor sits down at the piano? Taylor's account, Taylor Swift on Instagram, went live. Not Taylor Nation this time. And again, the other nights when Taylor Nation went live, they would just stream the announcement part. Taylor being like, I wanted to tell you that the Bolter is the second variant of the Tortured Poets department. And then the live would end, and then Taylor would play the piano surprise song. On March 2nd, Taylor didn't announce anything, but they went live on her account anyway. The caption was a black heart this time instead of a white heart.
A black heart, which is very important to note because, again, white hearts was the aesthetic of TTPD, still is. Taylor Nation just posted again with a white heart. All of a sudden, we get a black heart.
A black heart. So Taylor does not announce anything.
Yeah.
She goes live.
And we just watched it back today and forgot that for some reason, the first thing she does, she hits the piano.
It's like,
and like plays a key, and then she's like, oh, like, sorry, my bad, whatever. And there's like this weird shuffling, and like you're like, okay, what is she, whatever.
Yeah.
And then starts playing the piano. Next thing you know, she just busts into I Don't Want to Live Forever, which I think that was the first time she'd ever played it.
No,
as a
I think it was the
surprise song?
second.
Second?
Yeah,
Okay.
she had played it in full, and at this point now she's doing
Okay.
mashups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she played I Don't Want to Live Forever mashed up with Dress, which for those who don't know, Dress is on Reputation. I Don't Want to Live Forever wasn't on Reputation. It was made for 50 Shades.
Mhm.
And it was like around the Rep
It was
time,
like earlier in 2017. Like,
Yeah.
Rep was released November 2017. It came out in like January.
So it was still like the Rep era. So
Yeah.
like we all consider it like to be lumped in with Rep. And some people are hoping and clowning that it will be a Volt track because it's a banger. And like, please get Zayn back on the track and perform it. And so she plays these like Rep-spicious songs in the yellow dress, which is also like a sus dress, which wasn't it Taylor Nation posted that day we saw earlier. They were like, fear the yellow dress.
Yeah.
All before, like, yeah. And then, yeah, nothing happens.
Yeah, there was no announcement. There's just, for whatever reason, it's like the only time. So even going back to like, I'm pretty sure Speak Now and 1989 Taylor's version announcements, they streamed the announcement, but not the surprise song she played after.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't stream New Romantics.
Yeah.
And so what I'm saying is no announcement. They just stream Taylor playing these two songs with a black heart, these two, one Rep song and a potentially a Rep Vault track, and then she jumps into this, does her dive by, and then Taylor Nation tweets department meeting over.
Yeah.
And we're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, every other night that she's done this, she's announced something and she didn't announce anything.
Yeah.
So what does this mean?
Okay, wait. To answer a few questions. So yes, it was on her Instagram live. Sadly, because it was a live, it lives. I mean, you can go and like watch it on TikTok or like search. Like the
find
video
it.
is out there. It's just not the live. So the black heart. Maybe someone took a screenshot. But,
Yeah.
So Black Dog announcement. So the next night, she goes live, or Taylor Nation goes live,
Mhm.
normal business, and then she announces the final variant, the Black Dog.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like two back-to-back live nights, but one was the norm, one was on 3-2 the day that we were all like,
Mm-hmm.
and we get this like Rep-spicious
So at the time,
situation.
everyone was freaking out about it. Like, why did she go live? Blah, blah, blah. What happened? And then the next night when she announced the Black Dog, I think everyone kind of moved on.
Yeah.
It was like,
People-
okay,
we
I
moved
guess
on so
maybe
fast.
she just like forgot to announce it on night one and she meant
Right.
to and whatever. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
that Taylor doesn't make mistakes like that.
So that's when I went on this whole insane like deep dive, and it still haunts me. I have so many notes because like we gave you like the simplified like this makes sense version, but like I have tried to tie it into so many other things. Like when the Eras tour was ending, I can't even remember now, but like somehow we locked in the theory and we're like, okay, this makes sense. This is why she's gonna announce it the last day of the tour, and like again, here we are. So
I guess our whole point of this is something very suspicious happened on March 2nd last year with a Black Heart, with a Rep song, with a potential Rep Vault track. Taylor went live and it just doesn't make sense. But the fact that it was a 3-2 date,
yes.
and we're still planning for March 21st. Now I'm like, what if there's something happens on March 2nd? Maybe that's the announcement. And then Rep comes out March 21st.
Right.
I mean, that'd be pretty close together.
Right.
But
and like if anyone hasn't seen the classic Taylor Swift interview, was it, I always forget which talk show she was on, when she says can I really plan something 3 years in advance?
I think it was Fallon.
It was during the Lover era, right?
No, it was during Midnight.
It was during Midnights. Okay. Yeah.
Or no. Or it was during all too well, like Red Taylor's version.
Okay. Yeah. And like she said it.
Mhm.
3 years in advance. And so it's like, you're like, how could they possibly be teasing something just a year out? It's like, because they do this. So, and if you want to like bring it to like present day as well, a lot of us were clowning for January 23rd, because if you take like if you play around with numbers again, now you have like the 1, 2, 3, let's go. And reversing the 3, 2, 1 backwards, like whatever. People were making it make sense. We had a lot of like reasons. Nothing happened that day. That is the day that we got the Lover cardigan and the 5 holes in the fence that we referenced. This is what sparked it all.
Yeah.
Is because
we were like, why are they bringing up the 5 holes in the fence? They made
a whole promo video with this fence. The fence was in the video, and they've never made a promo video, and we're like, why do they hate us? Like, why are they haunting us? Because it's been a joke between Taylor Nation and Taylor for literally years.
Yeah.
And so nothing happened that day, except for that. Oh, and also, Taylor just happened to renew her trademarks, which we've all been talking about on that date. So her final extension for Rep TV, Taylor Swift Taylor's version, were renewed on 1, 2, 3. And you're like, this cannot be a coincidence. And then Spotify, Reputation just disappeared off Spotify. Was it that day as well? I think it was that day. It was like around that day.
Yeah, I forget now exactly which day.
And then
like, if I check her DMs with the mirror, I can tell you.
Out. Yeah. And then so it disappears. Everyone thinks, oh my God, she took Reputation off Spotify because the Rep TV version's coming. And then all of a sudden it's back. As of 1/29, which was 6 days after the 23rd. So it's like, I don't know. It's like, make it make sense. So 3-2 now lives in our head rent free. And so we talked about the Exile ends pocket watch. But there's also the Karma Coffee Cup, which haunts our dreams as well, from the Karma music video. So it's like you have the Rep scene with the Aries mask, and then you also have the Karma Coffee Cup at the end, which has the black nail and the blue nail. And the blue nail's on the 8. We all got 1989 Taylor's version, August 9th, and the black nail's on a 2. And I keep saying, every time we've had these clown dates, I'm like, okay, but there's no 2 involved. How is the 2 going to manifest? And so it's like 3-2 like encompasses both. It gives you the Karma Coffee Cup coming to fruition. And it also gives you the Exile ends in 3-2. So it's like a double whammy. We've got like both manifesting, which that made me so excited. I was like, I just needed to make sense. Like, I need to close the door on those Easter eggs. And then sometimes I like dip a little bit into like Debutation again, even though I don't feel like it's in the room. But I'm like, I feel like Exile can't end until she gets all of her albums back. So it's like, is 3-2 when she announces Rep TV? Is 3-2 when she does what Molly predicted forever ago and was like, she'll announce both on the same day, but they'll have different release dates?
That was an Eras Tour theory. I don't have that theory anymore. That was like if she announced it on the final night of the Eras Tour.
I mean, I still hold on to it because, again, Exile can't end until she gets all of her music back. Unless that's like a Rep only.
Our poll is neck and neck right now, by the way.
Oh, I need more evidence. I'm like,
I don't know what more evidence I can give you other than the fact that she live streamed her singing a Rep song with a black heart.
Molly,
she never did that any other night.
Yeah.
Like, no other night of the Eras Tour did she stream the songs. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm like, we have deeper deep dives, but sometimes you got to keep it a little chill just to keep people like, make it make sense. I'm like,
yeah, there's a whole other whole other 2-3 theory I could go into with I Hate It Here, but I feel like
no, they didn't manifest because that was the 23rd.
No, but it's still a 2-3. It's track 23.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I mean,
sometimes I'm like, should we? Because we have all of our clowning notes. I have them, as someone mentioned earlier, my clowning notebook. Yes. I have my like very chaotic clowning notebook. I also, I took a screenshot. I have to get my phone, but I took a screenshot the other day of when I went down the rabbit hole. And I was like, I will take this for the peeps because someone will want to see this chaos. What was I gonna say? But yeah, I'm like, do people like should we just like send people like our clowning notes sometimes and just like post them somewhere? I'm like, I don't even know how one uploads that, but like if anybody else wants to just like sift through it and be like, this lady's crazy, or wow, this makes sense.
Yeah. So that's part of
So
the
that's
rabbit
it.
hole. Yeah.
The rabbit
You
holes
know?
go deep, y'all. Also, we have voice memos, and like sometimes I'm like, do people want to hear these? Because if you want to, it's like this, but more chaotic and like, oh
Way
my
more
god,
chaotic. Yeah.
ah, and each of us just talking solo for 5 minutes, and the other one's responding, and Molly's usually like, so like I don't follow, but then she'll be like, but everything you said sparked this, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my god. Oh, when did the other piano malfunctions happen?
Oh, one of them was
Oh,
in Gillette, night 3.
oh, when it rained. But
Mm-hmm.
apparently, like that was like a real.
That was a real, yeah. I'm just saying it was a
I
malfunction.
know. I tried to make it makes. There were so many times during the tour where she was like, "Oh, oops, this is broken or this is wrong." I'm like, "Is it? Is it?" And I'm like, "I think it just was." You know.
I feel like the last thing we can answer, unless anyone has anything else before we wrap it up, is how do we think she's going to announce it? Because we've been talking about that
Mhm.
too.
Yeah, because even though like we're clowning for like March 2nd, but I'm like, how is she gonna do it? Like it feels random just to be like, oh hey guys, by the way, like because after the Super Bowl, we don't know when we're gonna like see or hear from her like
Mm-hmm.
next, right? It's like that is our next like, we are going to see Taylor in a week. And then
Right.
after that, there's no events like on the docket.
Yeah, it's like the next
So
thing is like the iHeart
yeah.
Awards. But
Right.
I don't
Which we
know
don't
if
even
she'll
know
even
if she's
go.
yeah.
She last year, I mean, she was, you know, on the break from the Eras tour, I think at that point. Yeah. But she just sent a video. Like she didn't go in person.
Yeah.
I don't know that she's ever been in
But
person.
Travis is nominated with her, so I'm like, he will finally be free post Super Bowl, post season to like, and he's never been able to go to an award show. So maybe. Or maybe they'll both be like, we're not going to that. Like, we're not. We finally both have time off. Like, we're not doing this. That's the other thing is like now, Travis is gonna be available, so like they can finally like hang out and chill. So she
Yeah.
might disappear for a little bit. Which is kind of, I guess, maybe on brand with the Rep TV announcement because it'll be like,
Just don't disappear for a whole year,
nobody's heard
please.
from me for months. And then, oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we were talking about it with before the Eras tour with the Fearless and Red Taylor's versions. With Fearless, she had an announcement on Good Morning America and she posted on socials. With Red, I think it was just socials. And then again with like the air or then the next thing was like the Midnights, which she announced at the VMAs, and then the
Mhm.
Eras tour she also announced on GMA. So I'm like, are we back in that like GMA announcement zone?
Well,
Like
no, because again,
everyone's always got to be on high alert at like 7 in the morning.
no, because then she announced, obviously, Speak Now, Taylor's version in
But that
1989.
was on the Eras tour.
Yeah, but like,
That's
it
what I'm
was,
saying. Like, with
yeah.
now that we don't have the Eras tour, those were our avenues for announcements before.
Well, and then we got Tortured Poets during the Grammys last year.
Right, but the Grammys, they just ended.
No. No, it's too boring. I'm like, Rep TV at this point, I'm like, she has to, like, maybe once upon a time she was going to do something chill. And now she knows that that's all anyone ever talks about. So, earlier Molly was like, oh, like she could just like archive all of her photos on Instagram. And then, because when she dropped Rep, she wiped her social clean, started over. And it starts if you scroll all the way down with the little snake video. And so it's like, she's like, oh, she could just archive all of her stuff and just do it again, just to, And I'm like, that would take a long time. Taylor Nation would be like, oh my God. Like, yeah. But I mean, she could. I don't know if she's going to. But
I don't know. I hope it's something as epic as planned. Does no
I
one care
know.
about debut? We do care about debut.
We
There
do.
aren't really. I
I
don't feel like there are a
know.
whole lot of Easter eggs
Mhm.
leading us to it.
Like
So
debutation, I was on that train for like
yeah,
at least a few months. I was like, "Ooh, that's fun." But now I'm like, yeah.
yeah.
I
I
don't
can't wait
yeah.
to like "Cold as You" is the song I'm like dying to hear the most with her updated vocals. When she sang it live on the Eras tour, it was so good. And then
Yeah.
otherwise, you know, should have said no is my favorite
Yeah.
song on
And then
Debut.
the Voltrax, like whatever those, like
Yeah.
the collab, the
Oh,
Shania Twain.
yes. We were talking about that earlier tonight because there are, you know, some people who think Shania could be featured on a debut vault track. And
Yeah.
Taylor mentioned Shania um in her little speech tonight before she presented country album.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just feels like I used to think like maybe she would announce debut first, then rep, but like someone said, she'll get her reputation back and then she'll get her name back. And I'm like, okay. And like it makes sense to close this chapter of re-releases with where she started, like how iconic to end where she began. And so I like that. So yeah, it's like we don't clown for debut because yeah, the signs, it's more of like a
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like the other like re-releases. Like 1989, I think was the only other one, at least in my head, that was like
No,
there
Speak
were
Now
some
had so
signs.
many Easter eggs in them in
Oh,
its
okay,
music
yeah, yeah. No,
videos.
you're right. You're right.
Yeah. But like Red
Like,
and Fearless, we
yeah,
didn't really
yeah,
know. Yeah, they
yeah.
just happened.
And it's crazy because I remember when one of the many times I was deep diving, before we knew about Speak Now, Taylor's version, she'd posted something like a few days before with the purple heart. And I remember looking, it's like fun to look back and be like, didn't know then what I know now, but like she was saying it so much without saying it. So that's why we talk about the black heart and you're like, who cares? It's like, dude, these hearts have become like
it's intentional.
yeah,
the hearts, like Taylor Nation uses those.
the hearts and like
Yeah.
basically since the Eras tour, it's like she's blatantly been like, here's the heart for like this era, and like every album has a color, has a heart, and so yeah, the black heart is pretty much rep.
Yeah. And to people who think it could be a Super Bowl commercial, I don't think she would do that because Beyonce did that last year. That's how she announced like Cowboy Carter.
Yeah.
She had the Super Bowl commercial that said drop the new music. And so I like Taylor likes to do things that are different from what other artists are doing.
She also likes to do stuff she's never done before. So, I mean, I don't yeah.
Yeah.
And also obviously we've talked about like the Year of the Snake, which started on January 29th. So like we are officially in the Year of the Snake, but we still have like 2 months until the Aries season. Also, someone, aka Alex, pointed out like when we were trying, like we were like really gonna reach with her outfit tonight.
How can we clown about her outfit other than it being for
and
the
he
Chiefs?
just casually said something about her outfit like being fire, and I was like, oh my god, fire. Aries is a fire sign, and I was like,
Taylor said the red Voltrax are fire.
I was like, it's duplicitous for the Chiefs, and it's a red herring for, and it's like, I mean, maybe, probably not, but you know, it's like maybe, probably, who knows?
Yeah. Well, it's been awesome hanging with you all. Thank you so much for joining us.